as the brain matures and as the child begins to age, it starts to notice, oh, I have a hand, or this is my hand, or these are my feet. And this is a gradual process for the child, but eventually what happens is that child develops a knowledge of self. And when the child matures, the child learns more about their parents, and sociologists and psychologists start to would call it the looking glass self, because the child starts to develop a sense of self based on the perception that the parents have of the child. Uh, Now, America being the land that black men in America grew up in, has suffered because of the perception of the media, the perception the media has portrayed of black people, and just the whole social structure. And what I mean by that, to just illustrate, is that if you take a textbook, a history book, out of basically any public school, generally speaking, you take a textbook of American history and you flip through the pages, I would be willing to bet that less than 10% of that occupies anything pertaining to black people. I think that having a Black History Month is sort of an oxymoron and a contradiction, because in its hypocrisy, because if you truly are concerned about black people knowing their heritage and history, then it should be incorporated into the year-long curriculum instead of having just 1 month where we talk about black folk. Um, I think that if black people were more cognizant of black leaders who were influential in their day and time, such as one of my favorite idols, Malcolm X, or even Marcus Garvey, first black heavyweight champion of the world. Do you know who that is? Jack Johnson, W.E.B. Du Bois, and I could name many more. These people who were very great influences. You think of Elijah McCoy, who was an inventor, who invented many things. In fact, when you hear people say, oh, that's the real McCoy, they may or may not realize that they're making reference to a black man who is an inventor. I think that a lot of the problems that we face in America are rooted in a system of injustice. We went from slavery to Jim Crow, and now we have the criminal justice system, which, in my opinion, is a new version of the Jim Crow era, especially when we look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And in order to address the problem, I think it needs to be addressed on two levels. One, it needs to be addressed and brought to the attention of the people who have the power and the political power to change the structure of the criminal justice system in a way that it doesn't discriminate, and in a way that it doesn't put so many black people behind bars and in prison. Instead of making them lifelong criminals, we need some sort of rehabilitation process involved in that. Well, some would argue, well, they just need to stop getting in trouble. Well, that goes back to another point, which is learning about our heritage, our history, the knowledge of self. And once we come to the knowledge of self and are able to differentiate ourselves from other people and to take pride in who we are as an individual, then we can come to the knowledge of God, which sets the spiritual foundation necessary to be a disciplined, sober-minded, educated, hard-working individual who is able to find a mate who is equally compatible to your strengths, and who complements your weaknesses, and to develop a bond, and to have children. And within that family structure, and have a family that is committed to values that are conducive to a life of happiness, and that is conducive to a life of being a law-abiding citizen. And so there are many dynamics that are involved in this. My intention is to bring some of these issues to light.